Today we're going to talk about how to save money on your household bills. Hello, my name's Rachel. I do videos about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and today we're going to talk about how we can save some money on our household bills. And I've recently done a video on how to save money on the food bills specifically, so I'll leave a link up here for that one. And let's talk about how we can save some money on our household bills. So I've always spent a lot of time scrutinising my bills, for sure. I make sure that I get the best deal that I can, and I try and optimise my money so that I can have as much free money outside of household bills. The more I can save on household bills, the more money I have available then for travelling, which is kind of the goal this year. Let me talk you through the steps that I take to save money on my household bills. First tip is to go SIM only on your phone contract. Try and avoid buying phones within a contract. Buy them separately because you're going to get a much better deal for the phone and you're not then paying interest on the phone price as well. And you can often buy second hand and get a really good deal, and they don't have to be the latest and greatest. But if you get a SIM only contract, you've got the best price possible for the maximum amount of data, and it's a monthly rolling contract, so if you're ever completely stuck and do need to get hold of a phone, you could set up a new contract. It gives you that availability, that flexibility, but a SIM only contract is the best way forward, and you can do a monthly rolling contract and then you can always switch to different providers if they offer a different price. My next tip is to pay for some of your bills annually rather than monthly on a direct debit. This works for certain bills because if you pay for some bills on direct debits, they do charge you a really small amount of interest, and that does add an extra £10 to £20 on your bill for the year. So sometimes it is good to do direct debit and sometimes it's not. So for example, insurance is a better one to buy annually because then you're getting the whole cover for that year at that one price. So for example, I've just renewed mine and it was £220, and if I was to pay monthly direct debit, it would have been £233 that I would have paid overall for the whole year because of the extra interest that they add each month. So it is sometimes worth paying for them in whole upfront annually. My next tip then is to shop around for your insurances. I know that hasn't been as successful to do lately because of COVID and people having very similar pricings just to kind of get through, but there are starting to be some more competitive prices, and it's really worth shopping around, particularly for car insurance and building insurance and contents insurance, because you want to get the best price possible. Try and avoid renewing unless the renewal price is on par with the quotes that you get. So there are different websites that you can use, as Moneysaving Expert just lists loads of comparison sites that you can use, like Compare the Market, etc. And they will give you the range of quotes from all the providers and you can choose the best one for you. Tip number 4 is to provide monthly meter readings. This is for your electric and your gas. It's important that you keep on top of it, especially at the minute when we've got fluctuating prices. Always do a monthly reading, and then you have got a really clear picture of your usage every single month, and that will be really helpful for you should we get to a point that we can do price comparisons again. So keep that meter reading accurate and regular so that your bill is as accurate as it can be. My next tip is to track your bills. In particular, you need to track them in a spreadsheet. You need to know exactly what is going out every single month and how much money you are bringing in every month. And within that, you need to check that your income is more than your expenditure. So make sure that you have more money coming in than what you are spending. If you're going the other way, if you're spending more than what your income is, then you're in the red, and that's when you start to get into debt. You can find it difficult to manage your money. My next tip is to separate your household bills from non-essential bills. So make sure that you have a really clear kind of 2-column system where you know these are essentials, I have to pay these are luxury items that I could go without should I need to. I think having a really clear picture of what is essential helps you know that actually these are musts and have to be covered, these are variable and these can be adjusted as needed. For example, if you always allocate yourself a clothing budget, then that is something that is a luxury and that could be dropped or reduced so that you have more money available for the essentials should you need it. My next tip is to keep the receipts so that you can see exactly what you are spending your money on. It's really important that you're tracking this and know exactly what it is you're spending. I think when we find that we're out of control with our finances, it's because that we're not looking at the daily nitty-gritty of what we're spending, and we're just kind of assuming that we have control and we don't have necessarily the bigger picture that we need to have to be able to successfully reduce down our spending. So if you keep receipts for your spending, you'll then know exactly how much you're spending in each category. For example, for food, for clothing, for days out, food out. It just means that you've got a better picture, and so if you find that you're spending too much in some areas, those are areas that you could then reduce down. Which leads on to my next tip, which is to cut down your spend in those non-essential areas. So if you always budget yourself money for clothing, is it possible that you can reduce that down? For example, do you have an allocated budget for takeaways? Could you reduce it? See what areas you are willing to make some sacrifices in so that you can free up some cash. Another tip within that is to try and buy second-hand where possible rather than buying new. That can save you a lot of money overall, and you will still get quality items. You can still find ways to get exactly what you want, but without paying the brand new ticket item price. My next tip is, if you have got any debt, use any spare money that you have to pay off your debt. So any credit cards, any car loans, any overdrafts, you need to try and clear these. These are all going to be charging you interest and they're all going to be costing you in the long run. So any debt that you can clear with any spare money that you have is worth doing. Once you get in the clear and you have cleared it all, it is such a relief to not have that burden. So try and clear as much debt as possible. That's going to save you some money, because as soon as they're cleared, it is another payment that isn't coming out on a regular basis. My next tip is to try and boost your income. First off, you could try and sell items within your home, any old devices, any computers, laptops, phones, tablets. Any item that you are not using could be worth something to somebody else. So it's worth selling on anything that you're not using, not utilising, like furniture. If you've got extra furniture that is hanging around that you are storing, that's costing you valuable space and you could be earning some money from it. You can also look into side hustles as well to earn some extra income to help you balance the books and keep a track on your finances. So there are 10 ways that you can save money on your household bills. Let me know which tips you have. If you've got any additional tips, share them below. We can help each other out and save some money in the process. And I shall be back for more videos on decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year. Take care. Bye.